Kindly please share your details. If you already received the recording, you can please ignore the details. Alright guys, so please share your details in the chat box. We'll start the class in bit moment. Let's wait for another few minutes. We'll start the class. So meantime, please provide your details. If you already shared, you can ignore it. If not, please provide your email address and a phone number, your name, so that I can forward your first recording as well as today's practical recording. So anyone here is who is attending the first class, first demo? If yes, please ping me. Alright, so let's start the class. So I hope everyone is attending the last session. If anyone missed out, please ping your details. I'll share the first recording, understand the process what we discussed in the last class. Then you can understand this second demo. Okay, this is completely a practical demo, whatever we discussed in the last class. Okay, my voice is clear, guys. So anyone facing issue, please let me know. If anyone having issue with my voice, please let me know. All right. So in the last class, we had discussed about this BA process, end-to-end BA process. So I hope you understand what is the BA process I explained in the last class, how the requirement gets, how the business company start the business. When the business started, definitely we required a data analyst. Data analyst role itself as a BA implementation. Okay, so before doing any kind of analysis, before doing any kind of decision making on business level, we require proper reports. Once we get a proper report, we'll do analysis. Based on the analysis, we do decisions. How reports will get reports having information having the data. Data again comes in the different formats. Our data factory developer will help to get this different formats of data. Okay, so this is basic example I have given for supermarket. So any you take Flipkart, Amazon, other online shopping or anything, there's the same process. There is no other process. They have application front end. This is application at front end. If somebody is developed, that is not our headache. We have a connectivity to the storage. Every day the files will write in the storage. So our work will start from this box. We extract that data, whatever is data is there. We clean them, we transform them, and we make the data to be available in a proper information, and we store the data in one specific database. So same thing we are going to implement. Same thing we are going to start. We are going to see this as a practical. So this is a high level of picture which I explained in the last session. So this is something called, we have different formats of data, different regions. Okay, so we extract this data in a form of data factory service. We create a pipeline, and followed by wherever we want, we load the data. And from there, the Power BI team, whatever is there, they will extract the data. Not only Power BI, they have different reporting tools. Don't think that only Power BI they use in the companies. No, they have own tools. They may use Tableau, they may use SSRS, they may use other tools or other Cognos or anything, depending upon the company to company they use. Okay, so our main responsibility is to post our data in the proper information in this layer. Okay, so this is just our picture. So like this, we have different layers, different ETL pipelines you have to develop. Okay, different ETL pipelines you have to develop. Guys, please mute your mics. Any doubts, any questions are there, I'll answer your questions once the class is complete. Meantime, please not to get disturb others, please mute your mics. Okay, all right. So the same way we're going to discuss as a picture. So this, when you see the high level of picture, when you go inside data factory, you will find the inside data factory. To design the data factory, there's a picture. Am I audible, guys? Can please confirm my
Yes,
voice?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right, thank you. So the data factory, when you talk about this high level of picture, when you go inside the data factory, this is what technical terminologies will come. So when you see the data factory, when you want to create a data factory, is a service, is a tool. Inside that, you're going to develop the pipelines. And what is a pipeline? Pipeline is nothing but the collection of the components. It may be your different service. You want to extract the data from the blob storage, one of the cloud storage. This is one of the cloud storage. How you have a drive, Google Drive. The same way in Azure, we have a blob. You can store your files, you can upload your images, whatever you want, you can upload here. Binary large object format data, it's stored in the Azure. So you might get different formats of file. It may be CSV, JSON, Parquet, Excel, whatever the format is in. Once the file is uploaded by someone, once the file is uploaded here in the storage account, in this area, your responsible is to extract the data, and transform and load the data here. Let's take a basic example here. I'll just show you here. So let's take raw data. So this raw data logs, practice. Don't worry, I'll share you all this practice data. You can use this practice data for daily use. Now see here, this is my data. This is the data is coming from one of the source, from this file, from the storage account. And what we are doing, what is the requirement, why we are developing the pipeline? Because we want to extract this data and we have to load the data in SQL Server, Azure SQL Server. Azure SQL database in the table. So this is the data. I am going to load this data in the Azure SQL in tables. So first you need to understand what is the purpose of loading the data in the table. What is the use of data? Why we are going to load the data in the table? What is the purpose? What is the use? Can't we analyze the same file? Can't we analyze whatever they want? We cannot analyze in the file. Let's suppose they're asking you a report called a country-wise. Country-wise, they want to see how many counts are there, how much revenue is generated. This is data they want. Like India, they have 12 counts, let's suppose 100 counts, so much revenue is generated. UK, some 50 counts, some so and so revenue is generated. Can't we analyze this data in the file? Why we are loading the data in the Azure SQL database? By using the pipeline or by using the data factory. Why we are loading the data? What is the purpose? Anyone? Can't we analyze in the file itself? If I ask you, please give me this requirement. Let me know how many India records are there. Can't we do it here? Simply they'll ask you in interview. In this file, how many records are there US? How many records are for UK? How many records for India? And I want some of these salaries. Can't we analyze in the file? Why we are loading the data in the database? The question is first you need to understand why we are loading the data from this CSV file to here, why we are passing it, what is the purpose. The same thing you can analyze in the file itself. Anyone know why we are loading the data? Who is here a ETL developer? SSIS developer? Anyone?
So to take the business decisions like for showcasing in the reports and the dashboards, so that we can take based on the aggregations, we can take the business decisions or proper business decisions. So if you see the sum for the UK, if you want the count of as a salary, like maximum salary of the person, we can do a query, but reporting purpose, it will be very easy for the business to take the decisions.
I can do the same. I am a good expert. Am I from a BPO background? If they ask me, say, to do same thing, I'll do in Excel. If you want this,
Sir,
let's suppose I'll doing here. I'm good at Excel. You want sum of salaries? Let's suppose I'll do in Excel itself. Let me show you. Okay, you want sum of salary, no? So I'll put it in a pivot table. So you want country-wise data. So addresses wise, there's sum of salaries, and you want counts also. I'll put a count also. Values as counts. Got it here.
sir, this is the unstructured data, sir. We are moving to the database to make it structured. When the data is structured, we can do indexing, fast retrieval, and many more features, sir. We can just make reports, and we can also make reports with the unstructured data like you are doing right now. But moving the unstructured data to the database to make it structured. With the structure, we can do indexing and whatever things we want to do easily, sir.
Okay. So, okay. So that is what some cases for let's suppose small amount of data I can do in Excel. I can analyze the data in the file itself. But there is a every day you get a millions of records, a billions of records every day. I'll show you on my logs. Every day we'll get 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs records every day in the file we get. Even you say you can do in the Excel also will not support more than 10 lakhs. Even though you want to achieve this summary data, because this data only business team is required. They never see who is the customer, who is the person. They always look for high level of information, high level of information. Okay, so and so salary country, this so and so salary. So as I said, in Excel also, if I'm doing, I'm not able to do more than 10 lakhs. If you put 5 lakhs also, complete Excel will be gone. So big data, those kind of records or different formats of records, we cannot analyze easily. So for that, what we are doing it, first we are processing this data into a SQL Server. SQL Server database, a table have a capability to hold. This is a somewhat structure or somewhat semi-structure you get tomorrow. You get a tomorrow's JSON file, but still like CSV file, still text file, you can understand, okay, this is employee ID, this is salary, this is address. Still you can able to focus it. But when you get the other files like JSON, HTML, or some XML, Parquet, so this file you cannot analyze it. Still TXT file, still Excel file, you are aware with that, you can easily understand. At least by seeing the data, you can understand. But even when it comes to the millions of record, billions of record, you cannot analyze this data, even though it's a proper structure, even though it is a semi-structure. So these are all formats of data. First, we are making them to proper structured data because in database, it only stores structured data. Mostly we store as a RDBMS, structured data, relational database management system. In the tables, we store rows and columns so that if a millions of billions of record also you can analyze, you can write your own queries, own SQL queries. You want sum, you want maximum, you want minimum, you want. So this, even I cannot do most of these things here. So easy way is to process first this data into proper structure, so that reporting team also can directly connect from here, because this is something called today you got a blob storage. Tomorrow they ask you, no sir, we have a blob storage. Also the data is coming from a data lake. Data lake data is coming as a UK data. In blob storage, the data is coming as Canada data. So you can combine these two data, you can process, and you can load here in one centralized table. Because in reporting also, if I ask Power BI developer, please extract the data from data lake and one file, they have to do many things in the Power Query. They cannot extract. If they ask, if same data, if I ask them to extract the data from the tables where you have all country data, they can easily do. They can easily extract because all data are there in centralized place, like in data warehouse place. Data warehouse is nothing but all region data, all country data stored under one specific storage account, like your warehouse. Warehouse means all related stuff. If you take any kind of warehouse, your supermarket warehouse, all related products will store in one centralized. And whatever you want, you can pick from warehouse. The same way data warehouse also, all country data we are storing in centralized, where you can pick whatever countries you want. So that is what we are making this table as a warehouse. Okay, before doing any kind of implementation, first understand the purpose, what is the use, Why can't we analyze the status, or why can't we do analyze over here? What is the requirement? How this will be help to the business team? Get that information clearly first. Don't start creating a pipeline. So if they ask us to create a pipeline, don't create simply pipeline. Yes, definitely go with the later part. First, understand the purpose. What is the business? How business is will helpful with this requirement. Whether it gets understandable data, or whether that get benefit with this requirement or not. So you can suggest in the regular meeting. So they in real time you have a stand-up calls. Okay, stand-up calls in MNCs. Generally, you'll find in MNCs or level few companies. Okay, when you go some level companies, low companies, you will not find. Or they call a Scrum call. Okay, some Scrum calls you'll have. Scrum Master you have. They will take daily based updates. Or in your if you go low companies like level few companies, they have a daily or weekly based updates. You have to report to manager what you are working for. Okay, in interviews also you have to mention these 3 points, either stand-up call, scrum call, updates with my manager or team lead. Okay, these basic things. Okay, don't worry, when we discuss our project we'll explain this one. All right, so let's implement this requirement. So before implementing this requirement, what we required is we require tools. Okay, we require tools. You don't require any physical tools to install. You don't require any physical tools. Okay, nowhere we install anywhere. You just required, where is that? Okay, here. So you just required one system. You required one proper internet. So just purchase one system to work your laptop. Okay, in that you require proper internet and one Gmail account or one Azure account. Okay, so to log in your Flipkart, Amazon, what you do then? You purchase a product. You have a categorization, right? When you log into any account, let me show you. Let's see here. When you log in Flipkart or Amazon, anything. So what you do generally there, you will find a different categorizations here, right? Products, gadgets, some clothing, electronic products, appliances. The same way in Azure also, you have a categorization. That categorizations we are calling as into services, or we are calling as platforms. What sort of platforms? Here they are divided into 3 categorizations: software, or what we call infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. These 3 things are divided in the cloud, any cloud. So what are the cloud providers? Cloud provider is nothing but like how you have Azure, the same way in a market only there are 3 popular cloud providers. There are a lot of cloud providers we have, like how we have Flipkart, Amazon, like this. Those are more popular. The same way you have different other things also, AGO, some Mintra. Okay, so the same way here also we have a cloud provider. One is Azure, which is from Microsoft product. The other one is AWS. These are from Amazon. Another one is GCP, Google Cloud Provider. So these are the 3 main important companies who provide this below platforms. So that is the reason here also you have a tool that is not that level of tool, completely coding level here. So most of the Amazon users are moving to the Azure for data factory and other services. There are a lot of services we have, lot of services. So services just treat like your softwares. Okay, don't call it a software. Service is a component which we're going to purchase in the Azure. Okay. How we purchase in Flipkart and same way we purchase here also. So there are a lot of services. Why it is popular, familiar? Like it is a more number of services and in a low price. Okay, and also here, when you want to start with Azure, you require basic account. As I told, there is a three type of accounts. One is pay as you go, which is a completely premium account. Other one is free subscription. You need to create a free subscription. Microsoft giving you $200 to work with your complete Azure, not only Data Factory, complete Azure. You can purchase. So whenever you log into any Amazon, Flipkart, you require some amount to purchase some products. The same way here also you require some amount to purchase some services. Okay. So when you log into the Azure, just type here as azure.com. That's it. What it's showing? It's showing as whether you can try for a free, whether you can go with a pay as you go account, how much you are using pay amount. And Azure free is for 30 days. So how to create? It will guide you. I have a document, I have a recording, I'll forward you. In case if you're not able to create, not able to do, please ping me. We'll sit one-to-one and we'll resolve your issue. Okay. So what are the services they are giving for free? You can check here. The moment you click here, you will find what are the free services they are giving you, what are the credits they are giving you. Okay. What are the other free? Always free. They are giving some services sort of 12 months. And this 200 USD credits they are giving you for free. So with this credit, we are going to practice our regular class. So once you create the account, you just need to log in portal.azure.com. This is only the place where we are going to work. This is the main place. Now here you have a categorizations. So as I told you, infrastructure. Infrastructure means you can understand the place, the where you can physically store. How it is, what is a physical store? Your systems, your storages that are physically involved. Those services we are calling here as infrastructure as a service. Platform, which giving us as a platform means some like sort of SQL Server operating system. Those are platform as a service. Here you can find the services, all services. So there are different services. Still, it is not at all given here, but you can see in the left hand side there are a lot of modules we have. If I'm working for integration, that is your work integration, the logic apps, the data factory, other stuff. Okay, containers, databases, containers, analytics. Yes, definitely we work on analytics, data analytics, AI applications. So you are not going to work on all the services. What is our background? As I told in the first session also, what is our background? Whether we build upon on Azure BI developer or we are Azure admin, Azure developer, which we involve programming. So we are sit in the Azure BI developers. So those sort of services we use. Okay. Now see here, what is the requirement? Requirement is we have a storage because there is no storage right now. We have to create data factory. We have to create this one. Can we do it quickly? Let's see. So I want storage. I'll simply go and search here. Don't worry. I'll explain again this complete picture. I'm quickly showing you practically. So here we require Azure storage. So I'll just type here Azure storage account. This is my storage account. So don't worry. This part I'll show you. I'll explain you detail level. We have a document step by step I created already. Document also I'll provide you. How the document is there. What is steps? All steps we have. Don't worry. Okay, creation of document, what is storage account, what are the types of storage accounts, what is resource group, resources. So the step by steps with a screenshot, what you need to select, that all has given. Under storage account, what are the modules that we have, So earlier there are three modules. Now they remove these two modules. They kept as default as version 2. Okay, version 2 only it supports. Now if you see earlier photos, earlier images which I given, there are three types of storage. Now if I create, you will find here. You will not find three types. Okay, this is like a project. So this is my DMART project. This DMART project, I'm creating one storage account. My Azure storage account new. See, we are virtually we are working it. Do you feel anywhere we are physically storing? No. So virtually we are storing the data. We are not physically storing it very involved. We are not involved in physical storage. So if you observe when you are when you are using the Google Drive, G Drive, okay, Google Drive, you're storing photos, images, documents, other stuff. Do you feel anywhere that you are physically storing? You are having Gmail account 15 GB. You don't know where it is storing. But at background, they have a data centers. Data centers they allocated a unique your Gmail account, unique Gmail account, where you are storing a physically files, but you are acting like you are storing in the cloud. Cloud also that is just like an interface between you and the application. You like Azure, but physically on behalf of you, somebody is working on your process. The moment you create, they have some scripts. So here you can see there is a region, the physical region, physical data center. So you can, for practicing, you can select wherever you want, but in real time, they have a proper documents. If they ask you to do select in India, you have to select. If they ask you to do in EU, East US, you have to do East US. So now you can see the data centers, different data centers we have, different locations we have, different countries we have. Wherever you want, you can select. So physically, we are storing into this location. Physically, we are storing in the this location. Okay. So definitely the performance are required. What is performance? I'll discuss you later. And if you observe, there's a backups. Backups, so you no need to worry about for DBA activities. They simply take a backup. If any data tomorrow, let's suppose you are acting like you're storing your data. Suddenly in East US something is happened. You selected East US location. Something is happening in the data center because some short circuit or whatever it may be. So you no need to worry about your data is very precious. So that every day the Microsoft they take a backup for your data in other locations. If something is happened, they are responsible for our data. So they take everywhere any service they take a redundancy backups in Azure. Compulsory they have a backups. Okay. So they will take care about this backup. You don't need to worry about that. In case if this is not working, they have a high availability. We call high availability. In case one server is not working, immediately they jump to the secondary server. You no need to worry what is happening, how it is they are using algorithms. This is not well. So that is what nowadays, if you see Mindtree, I don't know if people heard or not this company, they mostly hire for Microsoft for contract base. In Hyderabad, mostly they hire for contract base for Azure. Even if you have a knowledge on Azure also, you can work for Microsoft for contract base. After 2 years, 3 years, you can convert into permanent role in Microsoft. When you have a permanent in Microsoft, then you have different case. Okay, mostly if you see Mindtree, you go and search in the Google also, they'll hire only mostly for Microsoft. Why? Because a lot of users are using the Azure. Azure, they require support, help. You're not going to do any development, but you are going to help the services to other customers. That is what they hire as a support role. Okay, let's leave over that. Just review this storage account. Let's create. Simple way. Now you're allocating some space, storage space. So whatever it is creating, just you have to monitor through notification. You're not involved in any physical activities. See, parallelly you can work. One more tab. No physical softwares installing, only through virtually. You want data factory? Here is my recent one. I'll create data factory. Data factory, earlier there are two versions. Now we have only one version. Default one version. Yes, in the same project, I want to create test ADF in the physical location and version 2, only default version 2 nowadays. Review, we have a GitHub and DevOps code repositories. We'll discuss in regular class. For now, ignore it. Review and create, that's it. But in SSIS, physically, you have to install Visual Studio, then SSIS will work. But in Data Factory, you just need to create Azure services. That's it. You start working in portal. Create. That's it. Let's see whether it is deployed. Yes, it is deployed. It is deployed, our storage account. Just go to here and see whether it is given properly or not. Azure storage account, yes, this is my storage account. Under this storage account, there are different storages. One service is blob binary large object service, file share. So your data is here or your data is here, you have to be ready with extraction. Our data is here. Wherever data is there, you have to load the data. So this is also deployed. Can I go and check? Yes, data factory is ready. So you can launch the studio where you're going to work as a development. Launch the studio. This is my data factory. This is my ETL tool. Completely UI based. No physical interaction. You are going to develop in portal itself. This is my data factory. Okay, let's comes to that picture. I have a storage. I created a data factory. What I want SQL, Azure SQL database. Can I use one file to be uploaded? Let's see, can I upload here in the blob service? I'll create one folder called container. We call container. Container is nothing but a folder. This is my data logs container. I'm giving a name. Here I'll upload one file. Upload file. Do we have any upload data? Where is that? Desktop. Azure data. Data logs. Practice data. Can I upload the same file? That what we're discussing? Yes, I'll upload. And you can share this. This is like a saving and you can share with someone. If you want to share with someone, you have to give access. This data. And you want to give access, there is the access policy. So in Azure BI, we're going to discuss all these points. What is the access? How to create access key, SAS key. If you want to give someone access only on blob, yes, we give blob. What sort of role they want to give, permissions. And we generate a key. Okay, this sort of things we're going to discuss in our regular class. So don't worry. So here in my blob service, I have a container. In the container, I have a file. This file I have to load by using my intermediate tool called Data Factory. Okay, there are only 3 tabs you need to discuss. You need to work. Only 3 tabs in Data Factory. One is the development. Whatever you develop, you schedule it. Whatever you develop, that required a connections. 3 tabs. Simple. The pipeline creations required scheduling, monitoring, we do here. The pipeline related stuff, actions or connections we maintain here. This is something called Learning Center. This newly added. So just click on the button, add new pipeline. The pipeline is about moving the data from blob storage to Azure SQL one table. This is my pipeline. This is my pipeline. And I want to use load the data, copy the data. That's it. This is my activity. What sort of activity? Activity means you're giving some work. Your source, you have to tell. Your sink means target, you have to say, you have to map it. Target is, what is the target? Target is our SQL server. Do we created anywhere SQL server? No, no. Let's create SQL server also. Azure SQL database. Simple. Okay. So let's create basic thing and how to access from on-premises. That also I'll show you. Let's see here. Very simple. So everything with UI only. Just you are filling like a form. What sort of thing database you want? Customer data. Customer database. So for customer database, you have to give one server. So I'm giving Vinay SQL server. So don't worry, all these things I'll explain you again. Okay. Physical I'm installing here. To install SQL server in on-premises, you have to go through these many steps. I already forwarded this document, installation document. To install SQL Server in your local system also, you require setup file, you require this process, you have to create a storage, you have to allocate these all updates to be have, if not it's going to throw you error. Backend software has to be updated, and these are the steps you have to follow. You require license keys. These are all steps you have to follow. But here, you don't need to worry. Just one page. One page. Give the server name, give the user ID and password. User ID name is same name and password to connect to the server. That's it. How much GB you want, you can allocate. If you allocate here, in this one, what you're doing, you're storing in the C drive. If you observe here, where you're installing, you are in C drive. Let's suppose today C drive is 50 GB. Tomorrow you can increase to 50 GB. You cannot. Easily you cannot. But here in cloud, today, let's suppose, see here also you have a backup. Here you can configure. Click on configure. How much GB you want? 10 GB, 20 GB, 250 GB. You want 40 GB, you can increase anytime. This is also not sufficient. Go with high level premium. 750 GB, 100 GB. This is also not sufficient. Go with other business process. Now you see, this is my basic. I'm selecting here as 1 GB. 1 GB I'm selecting. Okay. Tomorrow, if you want to increase, you can increase. So let's take 1 GB I'm using. After creating also, I can change. Simply I'll review and create. Okay, I recently got a new laptop. That is what I don't have Power BI. This one I have to install it manually. Okay. Microsoft Power BI. Let's see. Okay, I don't have permissions. No issues. Okay. All right. Let's say it is created. Okay, it is creating. Let's develop our pipeline. Go to the pipeline, data factory pipeline. What is here? This is the source. What is the source? Source is our blob storage. Already we created right blob storage. Just click on file. Click new. See, these are the many sources that we have. That is what the Azure is more famous for. So this many sources, these many targets, you can extract the data. So still we nowhere we don't know about this many storages, but still those connectivities you have Oracle, Cassandra, MongoDB, Azure DB, Oracle, SAP, or many such we have. So still we did not use this APIs to online APIs. So this many sources that we have Salesforce, SQL, SFTP, FTP, those many sources that we have. Salesforce, Snowflake, SharePoint, Spark, so Azure services, databases, files, so many sources that we have. That is what the Azure is more famous for. Any connections, any connectivity, easily we can extract. So you don't need to code anything. Simply you want to just search, you want a SQL, I'll search a SQL. What sort of SQL you want? Azure SQL or on-premises SQL? You want Oracle? Just search as Oracle. This many connections. You want SAP? You can select SAP. You want MongoDB? Select the MongoDB. You want Snowflakes? Just you want data lake analytics? You can go with data lake. So our source is blob storage. I'll search blob storage. So this is the more. So this is not there in other tools. Nowhere it is there in neither SSIS, neither Informatica, neither any other tools. That is what our data factory is the capability to hold any format of data. It may be structure, semi-structure, unstructured, any format of data. That is what the more, because today in today's generation we cannot predict what sort of data is coming from where. Data is coming from different applications. So you have to ready with that. So even if you know this tool also, it is easily you can work. Okay. Our source is blob storage. What sort of file it is? Binary file, delimiter file, Excel, JSON file, Parquet file, XML file. You just select here. That's it. I have a CSV file. Click on continue. That's it. This is my source as a blob storage, as a data set. Connection. This is more important. This is what we use here as a connections. I'm creating directly here. I'll show you step by step. So click on new connection. This is my linked service. So here I'm creating a connections. This is my connections link service. The connection is nothing but your blob storage to your data factory pipelines. Okay. So here is my connections. Okay. In the same account, subscription, storage account is this Azure storage account. You see loading the key. If you see here, it is automatically loading the key. So how it is loading, I'll show you in the later part. Okay, done. All right, just select the file, container, data logs container. Inside we have a file. Yes, I have a file, data logs file. That's simple it is. Yes, first row has a header. Don't treat like a data, it is the header, first row. Very simple. Is that SQL server is created? Let's check. Main. Yeah, it is created now. See here. So here, this is the SQL Server database online. So this is my server name. Under server, there is a database. This is connection string, complete server name. Complete server name. Copy. How much GB of data you are storing, you can monitor here. You no need to require a DBA team, separate DBA team. You can check here only, you can monitor how much used, how much remaining, how much occupied, 1 GB. If tomorrow you want to increase, yes, simply, I can just left hand side, you can just go to the compute. You want 2 GB, you want 5 GB, click on here, just change it. How much GB you want, select and just increase. Automatically infrastructure will change. Apply, that simple it is. It is scale in and scale down. Now can I go and check in the monitor tab how much GB is allocated for me? It is a 2 GB. Can you do same thing in your on premises? No. You required approval. Even after giving approval, your manager, team lead, IT team will check flexibility, then it will process. Many things are required in Outlook. Here, very simple, 2 GB. Okay, now I can see I can connect SQL Server. How you going to connect SQL Server? Anyone here to know? Anyone know how we connect SQL Server in our on-premises? What tool we use? To write a query, which tool we use?
SQL Server Management Studio.
That's it, SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS. So I don't want to take SSMS. I don't want to use in on-premises. I don't want to install in my local system. If you want to install, you can install. You can still call SSMS. But I want to connect here only. Here there is a left-hand side query written. Provide user ID and password and click on connect. That's it. No, sir, it is not good. It is not having those many features. I want to connect my SSMS. Yes, no issues. Go to SSMS, click on the tool. Very simple. No, you want to connect here only, just create a table. Employee data. You want to customer ID, customer name, customer amount, and date. That's it. If you want to run, you can run it. It is created. Okay. You want to see the result, empty result. You can check. No records. Do you want to see in the on-premises? I'll try it with the on-premises. So you know server name. What is our Azure server name? Go to this service. Go to the overview. Select the server name. Already server name here is there. I told you here server name, copy, paste it. What is username? When we created, we given a username. If you observe, I given username and password. That's it for it is. What happened? We didn't take secrets. The password is correct or not. That simple it is. You can work. There are a lot of. We created one table, right? Let me check. The table is available here. Employee data. So you can work on-premises tool. No, sir, I don't want to install any tool in my system. You can work with the cloud. So this is the tool. This is the table I created in online. Here you can access it in your local system. Any data is there? Don't think so any data because we not loaded any data. No records. Okay. Can we load the data now? Let's create a pipeline here. Already we created pipeline. What happened? Okay. Import the schema. Why I selecting JSON? Did I selected JSON file or what? No, because this is the format of this one. So what is the delimiter of the column? This one, just change it, give you the data. This is the data. So this is some top records. So you get every day millions of records. Okay, go to the pipeline. Your source is ready. What is your sync? What is your target? SQL Server. Azure SQL database. This is my target. Create a link service. Link service nothing but connection. You need to tell right in which server you have to load. So in this server name is Vinay SQL Server. User ID as a database, as a customer database. Already we know the username. Okay, provide the password and test the connection. Okay, once it is created, test the connection, create the service. Okay, so just select the table. With the which table we created? This one, right? Click OK, that's it. So like this we can create. So mappings, because what happened here is when you extract the data, here you are getting as a employee or ID, but in your table you have a customer ID. The columns are different, so you have to tell this ID and this ID are same. We have to map it. So that is what mapping is all about. So import the data, import the mappings. Some cases, sometimes it may not map. So you have to manually map the data. Why it is taking time? It won't take this much of time, okay? ID to CID. But I don't want to use ID, I want to use employee ID. That is the correct. Employee name. What is that employee name here? Employee name to customer name. This is the mapping. If you don't map, wrong data will be passed. This is very, very important in any ETL tool. Salary to be considered as amount. Address to be considered as country. Done. That's it. Validate if any issues are there. No issues. Just click on the start button. Very simple. So what is about copy data? Extracting the data from blob to Azure SQL database. So extracting the data from here to here. And once you have a Power BI desktop, you can create by connecting here. Very simple it is how to connect. I'll show you. Then you can present the data. That's simple it is. So it is processed. It is success. Do you want to see the output in graphical way? This is the graphical way. We extracting the data from here. We process to the Azure SQL database. There is a one file. How many records are written in the table as 22 records. How much duration it is occupied is 12 seconds. And this is also not a free of cost. It charges the amount data integration units. Our data factory will be charged. Our data factory will be charged data integration unit. This is you need to know. Each services, whether it's a data factory, will be charged based on the data integration units. Your SQL server will be charged data transactions unit. Your data lake will be charged monthly basis or pay-as-you-go basis. Your virtual machine will be charged hourly basis. So like this, each services will have own unique data lake analytics. They will charge based on the analytical units. So like this, each services they have own pricing tiers. Can we verify whether the 22 record is processed or not? Can I go and verify? Yes, definitely. I'll just rerun it once more time. See, 22 records. Now, if you want, you are good at SQL. If you're good at SQL, whatever they ask you to get the data, they want to see the data, employee data, that country data, they want to see country-wise revenues. So see country-wise, they want to see the counts and sum of the amount. That is nothing but your revenue. That's it. This is what I shown you in Excel. Do you see? Same thing I explained, I can good at in Excel, I can do in Excel also. I told you. Same records, do you feel any counts are mismatched? Can I see the total also? Same records. The only difference is in Excel, you cannot do more than lakhs of records. But here, it is a millions records also you can do summarized in database. So any company, the final target will be database. Any company, whatever the sources you use, the target will be a tables. That you need to keep in mind. Any company, they always prefer for reporting to easy perform, they use the tables because one file is coming from USA data. You other country people they maintain the database. Other company maintain data lakes. So we all combine together in the tool. Now today you got blob storage. Tomorrow they ask you there is a data lake storage. Then again I have to create one more connection here. One more connection for data lake. Data lake. What a sort of data lake? Data lake Gen 1 or data lake Gen 2? Then I have to create and then again I have to load in one table. So that is the reason whatever the data is there, we combine and singly we maintain in the data warehouse. Either is a Synapse data warehouse, either is a SQL data warehouse. And then followed by you can do a reporting. Okay. So if I start one more time, what will happen? If you are already morning, you executed, you schedule it. Again, your friend came, your colleague came, he started the running. What will happen? The chance of data duplications, already 20 records is there. Already 22 record is there. But still somebody started the process again. You don't know you already started, but you again running the same process. What will happen? That there is a chance of data duplications. 22 records, 22, 22, 44. So data duplications. So how to handle it? So to handle it as a ETL developers, we need to know whether you know activities, whether you know data flow or not, that's okay, no issues. But you need to know basic is loading process. This is very, very important for ETL developers. Whether you data factory, SSIS, Informatica, or whoever is ETL developer is there. Okay. For them, this loading process very important. First is full load. Other one is regular load. Other one is delta load. Other one is incremental load. Again, incremental we have CDC, lookups, SCD, slowly changing dimension. These are all loading process. So this 4 loading process you have to know when you go for ETL developers or development. So to avoid the duplications, to maintain the huge volume of data, we use this any one of this technique. There's a technique, there's an algorithm type to implement this logic. Now you want to see, you don't want to make a data duplication, I'll process full load. Just see here, observe here. Just single button, I'll change it here. Single button, I'll change it here. What I'll do, I'll just put it here as delete operations. Before loading the data, what I'll do, I'll use here as, let me go with auto create, it will go. Let's check. Okay, no issues. Let's see. So you'll find only 22 records. No, you run multiple times also. You will find only 22 records. But in earlier case, there's chance of data duplications. If I go and check how many records is processed, earlier 44 record was there. Now I can see only 22 records. Okay, this autocreate is not having for new record is working. No issues. So now I'll implement a full load. Very simple. Before loading the data, I'll delete. That's it. But in our data flow, there is an option. Simple. That is nothing but a full load. Full load is nothing but truncating the existing record, making your table is empty. First of all, before loading the data, you are making the table as empty. Then fresh load or fresh loading, you are doing it from scratch. That is nothing but a full load operations. Okay, 22 records. Earlier there was 66 records was there. Now I'll find only 22 records. There is a 22 records here. If you load one more time also, you'll find only 22 records. That is nothing but a full load process. The same way, I don't want to use full load. I want to use incremental load. Just I want to insert or update. Then that time we can go for incremental load with a different again approach. What sort of approach I want to use? CDC, change data capture, slowly changing dimension, or lookup or merge. So this is the techniques that we use in the loading process. Okay, you don't do manual process. Everything is automation. There is a process here. Triggers, daily trigger, different type of triggers that we have. Daily schedule, weekly schedule, monthly schedule, or you no need to wait for a file also. Automatically your pipeline will execute by using the storage event based. You no need to wait for a schedule. You just tell which storage you want to take. Somebody's uploaded file, automatically your pipeline will execute. That level of technique that we have in data factory. Minutely, hourly, secondly, however you want, you can schedule it. Every minute, every hourly. Mostly we go with day wise. In live data, we go hourly, minutely, monthly, weekly. But you don't want to give a schedule because the files are not fixed. They don't know when they are uploading in the night times, morning time, then go with the storage event based. Something is done on the storage account level. Somebody's created file, deleted or uploaded, then your automatically your pipeline will trigger by using the concept called grids. That techniques you have to learn in a regular class. Okay, so like this we have a different activities. There is a new concept called data flows. Here you have a complete sources. You can have source here. One source is your data lake. One source is your blob storage, which I just told you. Your data may comes from the different sources. You have to run it, and your data is coming from one more source called SQL, on-premises SQL. So these three sources, I'm going to combine in one single transmissions. These are the transmissions. I'm going to combine and I'm going to load the data in target. These are the transmissions area. So we're going to discuss data flows. First, we'll cover our activities, maximum activities. Then we'll jump to the data flow. And also there is a newly added as a Power Query and CDC approach. It is under preview still, but I'm going to explain this also. And followed by your all the connections, linked services, lift and shift. Somebody asked me, sir, how to load the SSIS packages, how to execute the SSIS package. This is the lift and shift process. You are not touching the business of SSIS. You are not touching anything about SSIS business. You are just extracting that lifting and shifting into the cloud and you are executing it. You're going to get the data from on-premises sources. This is the Azure self-hosted integration runtime. So like this, there are a lot of topics that we are going to discuss in our data factory. Okay. So desktop, we can just install a desktop. We can connect to a SQL Server and we can present the data. Right now, I don't have desktop, so I'm using my office laptop. So I'll show in next session. Okay, that in regular class how to connect and all. We have a topics on Power BI also. Some sort of topics I'm going to explain. That time I'll show you how to connect and work on our Azure services. All right. Any questions? Any doubt?